Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick from the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about one of Hampton's most wonderful and most precious resources, which is the water that is all around us. I have two guests who are working on volunteer projects to restore the waterways. Welcome Cris Ausink from Hampton Clean City Commission, which sponsors the project, and volunteer Claire Neubert. It's wonderful to have volunteers on the program. You spoke at City Council, you have this personal commitment about Hampton's waterways. Why is that?
We chose to live in Hampton when we moved here. My husband's military
and Navy, so he's stationed farther away.
Right, so most people ask me, why did you choose Hampton? Because so many people decide to live on the south side. And I say I chose Hampton because of the waterways that Hampton offers, and I really enjoy the waterways in Hampton, and being by them I recognize that there was a lot that we could do to make them even better.
I mean, I can rattle off the stats because it's one of the things I like to market about the City of Hampton is we have 124, I think, miles of shoreline that is at least canoe or kayak navigable, which is a lot. And square miles wise, where the government makes our boundaries, I think we're 60-some% water. So it's critically important. It's the history, it's how people got here from England, it's how the Native Americans ate and moved. I mean, it's essential to our life here for thousands of years since there have been people here. But now you have to pay more attention to it. Why do we have to pay so much more attention to it?
Clean water benefits everybody, and that's, we have to pay more attention to it for lots of reasons.
Because we've messed it up.
We've messed it up a lot. It's
right.
a huge economic engine too for Virginia.
In a lot of ways, not just seafood, which is still important,
right,
but tourism. And our our health.
Our health, right, exactly. So for all those things, water is really important. And because we have so much water in Hampton, that makes our water in Hampton very important.
So what do you guys do with it's a volunteer project called Waterways, you tell me, I'll get it messed up.
Hampton Waterways Restoration Project.
And it's not just a once a year, we do one big thing. You guys do stuff all year round. Tell us about some of the projects that you have, Cris.
Well, we have many projects, probably more than we should. The one in February is we got a grant from Virginia Trees for Clean Water from the Department of Forestry, and we'll be doing a tree planting along the stormwater ditch at Gosnell Hope Park, and that'll be in February.
So in general, the reason for that, planting trees along a ditch would be to help stabilize the shoreline?
Yeah, the three things that we're being regulated for is sediment, nitrogen, and phosphorus, and also fecal coliform.
So there's too much of those things flowing
too much
into
of those,
the water.
and trees are wonderful because their root system holds the soil in place, and also they absorb the pollutants out of the water. So it's actually a cleaner.
And nitrogen and phosphorus are not necessarily pollutants unless there's too much of it. So those are good things for trees.
Good things.
You just don't want them all running off.
Right, we don't want them running off into the water. Mm-hmm. And so we have that, and then in April we have a Walk Hampton Clean.
Usually tied in with Earth Day.
This is a big event.
Right.
And it's actually tied in with, in March, it's actually turned in with the Great American Cleanup.
Okay.
With Keep America Beautiful. And this is where everybody can be a participant.
This is one of those things where, if you work full time and you have small kids and you don't have a lot of time to give, you can bring your kids.
Right.
You can,
and this
help for whatever period of time you have that day.
And it's so cool because you can do it on your schedule and your place. you can do your neighborhood. Our goal is to walk Hampton clean, and we start at home. And starting at home means picking up the litter along your street. So Hampton Clean City Commission does lend out equipment, and we give you trash bags and sometimes gloves to clean up your neighborhood. So if you've got a ball game in the morning, you could take maybe half hour, anytime between 6 a.m. if you're an early bird, or you have a huge schedule, all the way to noon. You can take it, clean up your neighborhood, walk your streets, pick up any trash or litter, or cigarette butts, which actually are very toxic.
Yes.
And
yes.
so
they're harder to pick up, but they're, you know, you want to get
that's
them
why
up
you would
out
need
of the
the
ground
stick.
before
We
they-
don't want anybody touching them, but you know, you can have a litter stick to pick them up. And you can do that on your own schedule, or you can do it as a group, as a neighborhood association, as a club,
as a scout. It's a great activity for scouts.
So you can pick
we
a
used to clean the
neighborhood.
kids' school grounds, you know,
Yes,
as
and
our
we will
scout.
include school grounds for safety reasons for children, because sometimes if you're walking along the street, you know, with cars and there may not be sidewalks in your neighborhood, then you really want the safety issue for kids. We'll, you know, do schoolyards for them. But it's a wonderful opportunity. Last year we partnered with Hampton Bay Days. This year we're just waiting to see. But it's April 11th, and that is set.
Okay,
That's a
but we
set
should
date.
check, because I
Yes.
think people can go to hampton.gov/HRCC. What is it?
No,
HCC, Hampton Clean City Commission, three C's. And look at the schedule, because you guys have something really at least every month.
Oh,
Some
yes,
sort
definitely,
of cleanup or activity or workshop or rain barrel workshop or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the other things you guys are looking at with the waterways restoration? What are some of the projects? You do waterways cleanups?
We do shoreline and water-based cleanups. Last year we joined Clean the Bay Day, and we did the largest waterways cleanup that Hampton has ever had, with 37 boats on the water, 44 volunteers. We cleaned over 14 miles of shoreline. So that was a really great place to start the waterways cleanups. From that, we've started more waterways cleanups with a focus this year on the best management practice areas, such as Hampton Coliseum Lake.
Now, people don't understand. I know the city folks toss around this BMP, or best management practice, and what those are retention ponds that are trying to make sure water gets more filtered before it gets into the system. Okay, sorry for that. So the Coliseum Lake is a great one, though.
We've done two boat cleanups there.
And when you say boat, you mean little boats like my kayak or canoe?
And a canoe, a rowboat, a small dinghy. Whatever you have that can
Not
safely
motorized.
float. And we have a good time doing it. It's work, but
fun.
we have a really good time doing it, and part of the fun is seeing what strange object somebody might be dragging back.
Oh, I bet.
So
you never know.
There's no shortage.
I try to keep a trash bag in my kayak so that when I'm out, I can pick up stuff. But a lot of times I forget. And then, you know, you're on the water and there's nothing you can do but throw it on the floor of the boat, and you don't always want to do that.
That's right.
Yeah, we sometimes we'll do Newmarket Creek, and we have different boating clubs that also do cleanups for us.
Oh, that's good. Like Newmarket Creek, some of the areas are just fine, but then you get near the interstate where people have thrown things out of their car, or where all that litter has collected, where it gets so bad in some of those areas.
That's where Coliseum Lake goes underneath the I-64 and into that. And we hope to be doing some more, quote, BMPs. We call it ponds or lakes.
That's what they are to the layperson.
Right.
It looks like a pond, and it
Yeah,
looks pretty, but
it looks
it's
pretty.
there
They
for a
have a purpose,
purpose.
right.
Unless there's trash in it.
Yeah. Well, and
But that's the purpose of them, actually.
and
Yeah.
they sort of replace a lot of the waterways that used to be here that we filled in.
Right.
It's, when you look at these old maps of Hampton or old maps of Norfolk, they're unrecognizable because there were so many more streams and wetlands before
Right.
we began to understand that damage and create the wetlands regulations that we have now.
Right, that's true. And so, so that we do that, and when we also have, we're going to be participating. Sometimes we have booths just as an educational component.
Well, I was going to ask about that because, again, cleaning up litter is important, but
Right.
preventing litter
Right.
is
Right,
ought to be
right,
less work,
right, yes.
If you didn't throw that fast food thing out the window, we wouldn't have to have people get in their kayaks and go clean it up.
There is a new event. Well, it's not new, but it used to be the Environmental Expo, and it's being sponsored actually not by us, but by the Hampton Master Naturalists, and it's called Journey to the Bay, and that is the first weekend.
Oh, that's
in
good. That's the one
May.
they sometimes call putting the crab back in Crabtown. Or,
Yes,
some
like
of
that.
those
Except it's going to be at
different
Bluebird
themes.
Gap Farm.
Oh.
And it's going to be a really fun family event, and we're going to have a booth there, and just the Journey to the Bay kind of is the educational component of what we're trying to do, even with Hampton Waterways Restoration Project. So this theme is the same, and we're just supporting them as a partner.
Well, and you guys, and this is something that wouldn't have come to my mind, but you guys had a booth at Poochapalooza reminding, because what a target audience. You got dog owners right there, and let's remind them of what happens downstream from their animals and the harm that can cause.
The dog waste actually is very, very crucial to our water quality. Not having it in there, a recent study from the Department of Environmental Quality had done a study on the Back River, and they discovered they have a test where they can tell, they take a sample of the water and they take a sample and they can see how much feces is in the water, and then they can also determine by the feces what type of feces.
Or is it farm animal? Is it
If it's
pets? Is it
livestock,
human? Yeah.
if it's duck and fowl, if it's deer, raccoon, nutria, dog.
Wow.
Yes, and human. If
Could come
there's from a
sewer
septic
lake,
tank
yeah.
or a septic system that's not working, or a leak in the sewer system. But amazingly, they found that 34.6% of the feces in the Back River are dog.
Wow.
That's a third.
And
That's
that
over a
means-
third. That's over a third percent, and that can be prevented.
Absolutely.
So I think picking up your dog feces is crucial to our water quality, and that's why we are at Poochapalooza. And I think it's now Hollow.
Howl,
Howl,
dog howl, scream. Yeah.
So it's really crucial, and it's also a city ordinance that it's a class 4 misdemeanor if you don't pick it up when you're walking your dog.
When you're walking your dog, but if you live near the water, you should police your own backyard a little more often, I think.
Yes, there are issues and calls that come in about the smell and that. So, that's something we can do. We can actually make a difference just with the dogs. And so we do have, we do booths. Nothing like having a booth on poop, right? What are you doing
Cris
today?
is unique. I'm talking about that.
I do a poop booth.
Well, but you're a volunteer. How much time do you give toward this effort? And you're one of our more committed volunteers, so I don't want to scare people off by this. But
I think the important thing to know is that you can give a little bit of time, or you can give a lot of time. And we have meetings every month, the fourth Tuesday of every month at Hampton Clean City Commission at 6:30, and we welcome you to come to those. But if you are not a meeting person or that time doesn't suit, just come and do one cleanup or come and do one event. you don't have to commit to a whole year's worth of events to be involved with our group. We love having people drop in and help out when and where they can. So
if you
I
can do it, you're
putting
my
a lot of time into
example.
it.
Yes.
We can all make time. If you can make time to do it and give
Exactly.
back, we can all make time to give back. It might not be on the scale that you do,
Right.
but to still be passionate about protecting and reversing some of the damage in our waterways is very important.
And I think, like you said, getting kids involved is an important part of that, and that goes with the education. And we often have kids participating in cleanups or with the tree plantings. We also just recently did a watershed demonstration with three fourth grade science classes to show, with using a demo, what happens when it rains, what happens to all those pollutants that we have, how do they go into the water, and what can you do to prevent it. So again, preventing by education, through education is another component that we want to reach out to those kids. And it was really rewarding because then we got to go back and see the watershed models that they did.
Yeah, that
and
was
they
fun.
were
That was
really,
so much fun.
really excited
and they would
about it.
explain to us. It was really cool.
That's wonderful.
They got the message. I think nothing's more exciting
Right.
is that when you see something and they get it.
And they get it.
And that's just...
Because picking up trash it's always there. It can get a little discouraging.
Yeah,
but if you keep that in mind that these are
Working
kids
with that next generation
that aren't gonna think to just throw something out the window.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming by.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
It was a pleasure.
Great.
Thank you
And
so much.
the enthusiasm that these two people have, it's infectious. So I hope that you will take their example, go to hampton.gov/HRCCC and just look and see what's out there, what opportunity might interest you, and join in for an hour or for a day or for longer if you feel like it, and help clean up and protect our waterways, which are so vital. Thank you for watching.